Or what does happiness mean to you, actually? Let me start there.
I think happiness for me is around my mantra, which is creating a life that has meaning, purpose, and fulfillment, not just for me, but for other people out there. So yeah, I am happy. I'd say that. Like, I am happy. Genuinely. A formula of becoming a billionaire is by changing a billion lives. So how do you change a billion lives? Is by creating meaning, purpose, and fulfillment through what you're doing. And I believe that if everybody gets to understand that, it becomes so easy for you to solve anything. Communication skills, very important. The way you introduce yourself determines whether you're gonna change a conversation from 3 minutes to 30 minutes or from 30 minutes to 3 hours.
Okay.
That before they hear you, they must first see you, and people will address you how you're dressed.
Yes. Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Just to Kick It Is a Blessing podcast. Welcome to the podcast where it's all about time, where we teach, inspire, motivate, and entertain through the art of storytelling. Today, I have a special guest in studio with me, and let me tell you a little bit about this guest. So, I recently came across his content online, and it was such powerful content that I said I have to have him on the channel today. So without further ado, I will let him introduce himself.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Brian Nyambego, a speaker, an author, and a personal branding trainer.
Yes.
Above all that, I'm a firstborn in a family of 6 kids. Yeah, and I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for gracing this invite.
Thank you so much as well for hosting me.
Yes, speaker, tell us, where did that start?
Okay, I'd say back in high school.
Yes.
You know, growing up, I always wanted to be a pilot.
Okay.
But I think it's because it is a dream that my dad didn't get to achieve. So
Yes.
he wanted me to achieve it for him. And there is this whole aspect I tell people that we all have 2 dreams in life.
Yes.
You have your dream and your parents' dream. See, there is this whole thing of, let's say, something that is marketable. It will go do something that is marketable. And I was told that go do aviation because it is a good paying job or something like that.
Yes.
But I think now the whole thing of becoming a speaker, an author, and a personal branding trainer started when I was in high school.
Okay.
That is in grade 9. Yeah. And so far so good. I thank God. Yeah.
There's someone probably watching this and they're having the same fight that I'm sure you had with your dad.
Yeah.
Where their dad is telling them, be this. And they're saying, no, dad, I want to
Yeah.
be this. What advice do you give to the parent? Because that's a different person. And what advice do you give to the child on how to navigate such a situation?
Okay. I'll start with, you see, the transcendent form of communication with the past generations was they were given things to do and they were not supposed to question them. But when you look at our generation, mostly the Gen Z, if you give a Gen Z something, they'll ask you why.
Yes.
Should I do, like, why should I do it?
Yes.
And I believe that if there is one thing that our parents should understand, or maybe any parent out there who's listening to me, is this, that when you're raising your child, realize that he's going to be or she's going to be from a different generation. So the way they handle things is differently. So give them space to express themselves. Because I remember speaking in a conference in Kempinski to 61 CEOs. And one thing I told them is Gen Zs in the workspace, they might seem to be lazy, but trust me, they're fast. So the whole thing is realizing that we are from different generations, we work differently, we do things differently. And another thing, let's say, if I'm going to talk to now someone who is in the same situation I was in,
Yeah.
one thing I'd tell them is this, that don't ask yourself what the world needs, because what the world needs are people who have come alive.
Yeah.
Or rather, don't ask yourself what the world needs, because you see, what the world is looking for are people who are doing things they love doing. Because with love comes peace, comes perfection. That if you want to be so good in your craft, you have to love it first. So if you go for something you don't love doing, trust me, it will get to a point whereby you will start asking yourself questions like, why did I even start doing this? And it will be too late most probably. Yeah.
Okay, wow. So you said that this conversation that you're having with these CEOs in Kempinski, what was it about?
It was about the Gen Zs in the workplace.
Okay.
You know, the whole thing of why are they lazy?
Yes.
You know, someone is coming to work with shorts, Crocs.
Yes.
And they were like, why are you guys doing this?
Yeah.
And when we tell you, maybe, you know, the whole thing with Gen Zs is Friday, 5 p.m., I'm done.
Not
Until
even
Monday.
5. It's probably after lunch.
I'm done until like Monday in the morning. That is when you're going to see me in the office. Saturday, Sunday, it's my off time. That's it. So they were like, why don't you guys, understand us?
Yeah.
And that is the conversation we are having at Kempinski. Yeah.
Okay. You see, there's always going to be a difference between two generations.
Yeah.
So where do these two generations find a middle ground? Because you see, we can't also just keep on asking our parents to understand us. How do we also understand them? You get?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd say there is an aspect I usually teach people on communication skills, and that is under storytelling. It has three things. That is ethos, logos, and pathos. So ethos is all about empathy. Empathy. Put yourself in someone's shoes and ask yourself, if you're in the same space they are in, what would you have done? That's the first thing. Because if I really want to understand you as Tupac on the decisions that you're taking, or rather the decision that you're making, I have to put myself in your shoes and ask myself, if I was Tupac, what would I have done in this situation, so that I can understand what I would have done, right? Then after you've understood someone, you've put yourself in their shoes, now comes logos. Use logic. I think there are people who act with emotions rather than using logic, you get?
Yeah.
But again, using the three aspects, that is ethos, logos, and pathos together, because logos is logic, use logic. But again, after you've decided to use logic, now use pathos, that is emotions. When you bring these three things together, it becomes so easy for you to sit down, have a conversation. Because you see, for me, my dad, we actually stayed for 2 good months without talking to each other, because I decided to turn down 2 scholarships.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going. He was like, why?
Yeah.
Because I thought this was your dream all along. I was like, no, I feel like I found something new. And you see, when you tell your parent that you found something new, you really feel like that is not your purpose. They'd be like, sheesh, what's purpose? I thought we were like chasing a paycheck or something.
Yes.
And I was like, no, Dad, like I really want to create something that has meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. That if I'll do this thing for the rest of my life, I'll be so happy that I kept doing it, and I've kept doing it until right now. And it's created meaning to so many people out there. Because in my book, there is a phrase that says, a formula of becoming a billionaire is by changing 1 billion lives. So how do you change 1 billion lives? It's by creating meaning, purpose, and fulfillment through what you're doing. And I believe that if everybody gets to understand that, it becomes so easy for you to solve anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, you've told us ethos,
Logos and pathos. Yeah.
So I know you've told us that you denied the 2 scholarships and you and your dad were not talking for 2 months. But in that situation of your conversation, how did you use ethos, pathos, and logos to make that decision?
Okay. First of all, 2 months we were not speaking with my dad.
Yes.
He'd come home. I'd be like, hi. That was like our normal thing for 2 good months.
Yes.
And then came this day, and I was like, you know what? I'm just done with this.
Yes.
So I was like, Dad, can we have a conversation?
Yeah.
Then he was like, about what? If it's about school, no, we're not having that conversation. So, but I was like, okay, I want you to understand me. For once, let's just have a conversation. Let's sit down. Now, when we sat down, I asked him, put yourself in my shoes.
Yeah.
You are from a different generation. I am from a different generation. If I do something that I don't love doing, probably one day in life, it will get to a point whereby the paycheck will get so big and I will be like empty inside.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be doing something for the purposes of just doing it. I'll be waking up for the purposes of just going to work. But I don't really just want to work. I want to do something that I love doing.
Yeah.
Now he was like, okay, now, after he did put himself in my shoes, he was like, so after that, what next? Now, I went ahead and I was like, now I have to bring logic. So logic was becoming a personal branding trainer and a speaker, I have to have a product, and that is a book. And when I was in high school, I started writing my book, A Mindset of a Billionaire. So I told him, if I do something that I love doing, trust you me, and if you can be able to help me, let's say, get it to the next level, like now, support me, you know? But before I go to support, I was like, this is the book. And as much as if you can help me just kickstart this whole dream, I will never, ever ask you for anything. For money, probably for my bills, for my school fees or anything like that. Then he was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, just let's start it off. Then he was like, okay, cool. I think I can believe you. And I was like, now brought in the whole aspect of pathos, emotions. And I was like, you know what? After you've supported me, it won't just be about me. It's going to be about my siblings as well. Because whatever I get, it's not like I'm going to, as much as I get what I get from it, I'm also going to pass it down generations, also to my siblings.
Wow.
Then he was like, okay, I think I'm kind of convinced, but you'll have to show me that it's worth it.
Yes.
So After that whole thing, he decided to help me publish my first 1,000 copies.
Wow.
And my mentor bought my first 100 copies, gave me 50,000, and that is how the whole journey started. And so far, so good. Yeah, I have never regretted the decision I took.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, do you feel happy? Because, you know, that's one of the things you said. You say it's important for one to feel happy. Do you feel happy? I know you're happy. Or what does happiness mean to you, actually? Let me start there.
I think happiness for me is around my mantra, which is creating a life that has meaning, purpose, and fulfillment, not just for me, but for other people out there. So, yeah, I am happy. I'd say that. Like, I am happy, genuinely.
Yes.
Because every day when I go on social media,
Yeah.
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and I see what people are writing out there, I'm like, wow, this is what I fought for. You know, it's like when let's say people fought for independence in their country and they
Yes.
got it. So for me, I feel like this is what I fought for.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that it's bearing fruits. In which way? That last year I hosted an event, gathered 2,000 people.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Brought 2 speakers from Ghana. And I remember very well, there is a guy who wanted to take his life with suicide. But because I brought a speaker from Ghana to come and speak, that day after the event in the evening, he texted the speaker and he told him, because you came from Ghana all the way and you spoke to me today, I didn't take my life, but I was planning to. And you see, it might not have given me a whole, let's say, it might have been, yes, my event.
Yeah.
But what really mattered is the fact that I saved a life. Maybe that event for 2,000 people was only meant to help this one person. And I am happy that I got to do that. When I go on social media, on TikTok, and I find all these testimonials, people telling me, hey, I changed because of you. I got a certain guy like 2 weeks ago. He's a Bolt driver. And he told me, you know what, Brian, I changed because of you. I was like, sheesh, man. So the impact is way crazy than we think, or rather than I think. And I think when you look at that, for me, that is how I define happiness. That when I see such kind of people, I'm like happy. Yeah.
How do you feel when you get those kind of things? Because I know that I sometimes get them. And it's just a mix of emotion.
Yeah.
So I don't know, how do you feel?
First thing is you will be emotional. You'll be like, sheesh. So my content, my journey is at least changing someone's trajectory on how they think and how they do things. And then the next thing you'll be like, so the commitment that I'm putting in, the consistency is not just going in. Just like it's not that just I'd say going without being recognized.
Going in vain.
It's not going in vain.
Yeah.
I'd say that sometimes you'll be emotional, but you know, the whole thing of, okay, as men, we're told that, you know, growing up, you're told don't cry. Your brothers or your sisters will cry when they see you cry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that it's mixed up with emotions, but also happiness, because you're like, the commitment that I'm putting in, it's really worth it. So I should keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, no, keep going, and congratulations. You see, even I came across you online.
Yeah.
And that's why we're seated here today. So it's a testament of the good work that you're doing, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah. So your book, tell us about your book.
A Mindset of a Billionaire.
Yes. So you said you had been writing it since you're in high school.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to write a book at such a young age, or what called you to write such a book?
A Mindset of a Billionaire.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, I realized that as young people, we are raised up with patterns. Patterns in terms of finish class 8, finish form 4, finish campus, get a good job, right? But now I came to realize there is a difference between success and greatness. Okay. Success goes with patterns. Greatness doesn't. Greatness means that Tupac can start a podcast at 25, at 24, at 23, be a CEO, be a billionaire at that same age. But you see, in the country, if we see a guy who's 23 and he's a multi-millionaire, we question his wealth.
Yeah.
Because we've been raised by patterns. I mean, but in other countries, you find a kid is 19, he has a company. I know someone who I look up to that's 23, he's a billionaire. And I'm like, if this is greatness, then I want it. And that is where the whole shift of writing this book started. And I was like, if it's going to take me commitment, consistency, and also realizing that a formula of becoming a billionaire is by changing a billion lives. A formula of becoming a millionaire is by changing a million lives. Then I think when I realized that, it hit me that, okay, I'm not meant to be successful, I'm meant to be great. Because you see, there's a difference between the two. So that is what I usually teach people, that don't just be good, be effective in what you do. That your podcast, yes, it's good, but it has to be effective for people to really get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so if you want to be a billionaire, change a billion lives. You know,
Yeah.
as you've said that several times in this conversation, I've just kept on thinking about the companies or the people that I know that are billionaires, and you can see the billion lives
Yeah.
changed. You know, even when we just look at Elon, who we think sometimes is so crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you can see the billion
Yeah.
lives change. You know, so you wrote this book. If someone was to read this book today, what's one thing you think they'd learn or they'd pick up from it?
It's a quote on the first page of the book.
Yeah.
That my mother told me.
Yes.
And she told me that dreams without goals are just dreams.
Yeah.
That if you dream and you leave it on the pillow, it's a dream. It will never change from there.
Yeah.
So for a dream to change to be something bigger that you've wanted to become or see, then you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
And if there is something that my mom really told me, is that if you can see it in your mind, you can have it on your hands. But if only again, you have the courage to speak it out.
Yeah.
And with those three, or rather with that quote, I usually translate it to 3 Bible verses that really, I can say, it's like 3 of them that are very valuable to me. And I'd say these are the 3 verses that have really gotten me when I was, going through a lot and stuff like that. So if you can see it in your mind, that is Habakkuk 2:2. Or, it also depends with your teacher of English,
Yeah.
how you say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I was in a radio interview the other day and someone told me it's probably like, someone might say it as Habakkuk 2:2 or
Yeah.
Habakkuk 2:2. So
Yeah.
it really depends. So it talks about write your vision down. If you can see it in your mind, right? You can have it on your hands. You can have it on your hands is Matthew 7:7, where God says, ask and you'll be given, knock and the door will be open, providence. But again, in Hebrews 10:35, God says that, and your courage will reward you greatly. So yes, you can have it on your hands, but if only you have the courage to speak it out. So courage to go out there and do those things that you're dreaming of. So that is why I think my mother told me that your dreams will always be dreams if you leave them on the pillow, or your dreams will always be dreams if they don't have goals attached to them. So yeah.
How does someone set good goals that can help them achieve these visions? Because I guess we all have visions.
Yeah.
A lot of us were, the new year has just started,
Yeah.
we're so quick to create a vision board. But now, how does one turn that vision into reality, in your opinion?
So I'd say that I've met so many people this year,
Yeah.
and some of them told me, hey man, like, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
I don't have time. I'm like, 24 hours is a lot. You can't tell me that you're busy for the whole 24 hours. No.
Yes.
So I told them this. There is something I use that sometimes people will tell you, yes, I don't have time. Someone else will tell you that I'm too busy. So that is why I don't get to, I don't get to prioritize it, etc., etc. But I tell them this: your goal should be so urgent to you for you to achieve it. So urgent for you means that there's a rule I have. The rule of 100 says that, or rather states that, if you spend 18 minutes a day for a whole year in your craft, you will have spent 100 hours in what you do. But people don't get that because they're like, okay, because really you see the power of compound interest says that do it in the smallest bits possible, but let them keep amount. It's like a brick on top of another.
Yeah.
People are like, I want the whole building.
Yeah.
No, because okay, even this place where we are sitting on right now,
Yeah.
it started with a simple thing, the foundation
Yes.
to 3rd floor all the way. Because sometimes people don't want you. Okay, if you came here without all this, the interior design or everything that is here, you won't admire this place.
Yeah.
Because it looks the way it looks, you're like, yeah, this is it. But first things first, it started from the foundation. So the 18 minutes that you put in every single day for a whole year helps you, rather put you in a space to put 100 hours in your craft. But people are like, sheesh, I'm too busy. You see, people usually see my videos on TikTok. On a normal day, I'll do 3 to 5 videos. People are like, where do you get this time? I'm like, I only do 18 minutes a day to just go for a walk outside and record content as I'm walking. So I attach value to everything that I'm doing. So when I'm walking, that is taking care of my health.
Yes.
When I'm walking still, I record content,
Yes.
which I'm going to give people out there, or rather put out there for people to listen to. And that is why I tell people that you can't give people what you don't have. You see, it all starts there. And I believe that for anyone who wants to achieve any goal, make it as urgent as you can. Because if your goals are not urgent to you, you will never, ever achieve them. You'll be like, I'm too busy. I can't get this. I can't do this. I haven't had time. I'm not consistent enough, etc. So I think, you need to make them as urgent as possible and bring them to the smallest chunks as you can. Because, okay, you look at it from, yes, it's this huge or rather big goal, but bring it to smaller. Because, okay, if someone told you that you can do 100 hours in your craft, you'd be like, that is too much.
Yeah.
But if you bring it down to 18 minutes a day for a whole year, you're like, that is easy, right?
Yeah.
So it's a brick on top of another until we get to the whole building. Yeah.
You said like 3 things that I've also just tried to hold in my mind for that thing. But I like what you said, the thing for 18 minutes a day can really change your life. And I also saw someone recently write that on LinkedIn saying that a lot of us people think you need a lot of time to change your life. But it's just like what you say, like 18 minutes a day for 365 days, and your life can change in one particular area. Yes. So it's that thing for starting small. You know, some of us believe in big things, but even a big thing has to start
Small.
as a small thing. The other thing you said is the urgency. People do not. If your goal is urgent, you will achieve it.
Definitely.
The other day, I watched a video where a guy did some research, and he said he was in a room, and he said, "Raise your hand if you think you'll make $1 million this year." Very few people raised their hands.
Yeah.
Then he rephrased the question and said, "If the person you loved most was going to die this year, if you couldn't make $1 million, raise your hand." And almost the whole room raised their hands. And it just shows the urgency of something. I think sometimes we don't feel the urgency. So how do you deal with something like that, like urgency?
Urgency. So when I'm creating my goals, the first thing I look at is how urgent is it, and how urgent is it in terms of how long. Okay, you know, sometimes I tell people that it will take longer, but it will last longer. But people don't really get that aspect of, okay, sometimes urgency can be, it doesn't have to happen instantly there and then. It might take some good time, but it will happen as much as you keep it urgent in your heart. Because this is it. You see, one thing I'd say it's something that I tell people to do is that as much as urgency is involved, you also need to have the steps on how to achieve it. Steps on how to achieve it with urgency is this, that yes, tomorrow or rather maybe I am a creator on TikTok. So this is it. There's a day I'll be in town. It's like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. And on a normal day, I'll post a video in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, right? Yeah. And maybe I can post the 2 of other extras. Yeah. Because if I'm supposed to post 5, I'll do like the first 3 and then post the other 2. So that makes a total of 5, right? Yeah. But if I haven't posted the 3, I can't sleep. So after I've posted the 3, I'll be like, now I'm okay. Yeah. Right? But now most people will be like, I think I've posted 2 and I think that is okay for me. Okay. So let me just leave the other one for tomorrow. No, that is it. So
I think you're speaking to me, but
So the whole thing I usually tell people is this, that if it's so urgent to you, you should also make a promise to yourself that you know what? I can't make promises I can't keep. So you hold yourself accountable. You're like, for me, I never make promises I can't keep. If I was supposed to be here today for this podcast and someone came and told me, Brian, I'm gonna give you 100K for an engagement, I'd say no. Because you see, I might go for that 100K at the moment, not knowing that Tupac in the next 3-4 years is gonna be a multi-millionaire from his podcast. And maybe I'd want him to invest in what I'm doing. Yeah. So I lost the credibility then when I decided to not go to his podcast because it wasn't as urgent as it was to me. And that is where I'll bring in this whole aspect of many people out here in our generation are like monkeys. If you give a monkey 1,000 shillings and you give the same monkey a banana, what will it take? A banana, right? Yeah. But he doesn't really realize that 1,000 bob can buy it 100 other bananas.
Yes.
You see, so I feel like many people want instant gratification, that I want it right now at this moment. Yeah. But with urgency, you need to realize that some things can take time. They will take longer, but you will achieve them. Yeah. And that is how I usually do it.
But bro, in a world that we're constantly on social media being sold instant gratification, you go to YouTube, you go to TikTok, get abs in 60 seconds, get rich in 1 minute, eat healthy in 3 seconds. How do you avoid instant gratification?
I'd say is also you are an average of the 5 people around you.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is, if you stay around people who want, okay, the whole thing is, Tupac, if I'm with you right now,
Yeah.
and probably like we have mutual friends, right? And you have a podcast, maybe our other friend has a podcast, maybe someone else has a podcast. So on this circle, probably I'm a creator as well. So that means as much as I don't have a podcast, I consume your content.
Yeah.
Then as much as I go put my content out there, I'm like, you know what? I have to be at the same point that these guys are.
Yeah.
So where, you know, as I told you again, you can't give what you don't have, right? So the whole thing with instant gratification, as much as we consume, it also depends where you're consuming from. So if you want the right information, sit with the right people.
Yeah.
If you want the wrong information, sit with the wrong people. That is it. Like, it's not, it's like, you know, in life, it's a two-way traffic. You either make it or you don't.
Yeah.
Whether you make a choice 1% better or 1% worse, it's all up to you.
It's true.
So the whole thing I tell people is that as much as there is all these ads on social media, get abs in 60 seconds, okay, go look for that person. Like, okay, go look for someone who went to the gym and got abs in 60 seconds and ask them, is it real? Because, man, like the gym, you see, success in life is like going to the gym.
Yeah.
You never get results on the first day. You get results after like 6 months.
Even 6 months
Is actually less.
Yes.
And you are not the one who will realize the results. It's people around you who will be like, shish, you've changed.
Yeah.
If you've been reading books, listening to podcasts, they be like, your communication skills have changed.
Yeah.
Your way of delivery has changed. Your mastery is on another level. You see, you will not realize, because this day I went to church, like, I think a week ago.
Yeah.
Then my friend Victor is like, bro, you don't realize how many people are looking at you. I'm like, how? He's like, it's probably because of your content on TikTok.
Yeah.
And that day I met like 15 people who've been watching my content.
Yeah.
Then he's like, I told you. It's just that there are those who wanted to talk to you,
And then
but they didn't have I'd say they didn't have the courage to come and tell you, hey, Brian, I've been watching your content, but they were looking at me like constantly every corner.
Yeah.
I was like, sheesh. So you don't realize it. People around you will realize it and they will tell you if they're genuine enough with you. Yeah.
No, I guess also sometimes you're just also concentrated on your own growth
Yeah.
or whatever. You're not worried. And that's what is also important, or I like about what you said, is you're so concentrated with internal that external does not matter to
Yeah.
you. You know, and also that's what social media sells to us, to concentrate on external
instead of
that
internal.
we forgot to listen to
The
the internal
internal, yeah.
voice. You know, yeah. But bro, I've seen you do so much content around personal branding, and you've also said you know, you're a branding coach and expert. What made you fall in love with branding or personal branding at such a young age, when we didn't even understand what? Me, I think it's just maybe when I got to uni, is when I was like, oh shoot, bro, I could be a personal brand, and you know, and it's only until this year is when I've tried to take that a bit seriously.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah,
So first things first is, before they hear you, they must first see you,
yeah,
right? The people will address you how you're dressed. I think I should repeat that again.
yes,
That before they hear you, they must first see you, and people will address you how you're dressed.
yes,
You see, as much as we keep complaining, saying, hey, I want to go to the office with Crocs.
Yeah.
I want to go with a short.
Yeah.
Trust you, me, Tupac.
Yeah.
If we were supposed to have a corporate meeting for you to fund me like $1 million shillings, okay, yes, you know me, but if you didn't know me,
Yeah.
and I just show up with shorts,
Yeah.
a t-shirt and Crocs,
Yeah.
would you be so sure that I can handle that a meal that you want to give me? No.
100%
Like, I have to show up, suit up, and be like, you know what? I'll show up for that opportunity. It's the first thing I was told by my mother, that if you're gonna show up because I remember we had this debate with my mom when I was young. My mom was like, the day you will start wearing suits, I'll buy lots of them for you.
yeah,
I was like, Mom, I can't wear suits.
Yeah.
So I think until really the day she passed away,
yeah. Sorry.
after a couple of months, thanks. So after a couple of months is when I realized that, sheesh, the things she was telling me then,
Yeah.
I didn't understand. Right now, I get them completely. It's like a whole sentence that I wasn't like putting together. Now I can put it together.
Yeah.
Because the number of times I've shown up in rooms, you know, suited up, you know, you look sharp and all.
Yeah.
Those are days that people tweeted me. Like, I've gone to a place and someone was like, you're 30. And I was like, sheesh, 30. Man,
At a
that
gym.
is crazy. Yeah. So I think people will address you how you're dressed mostly. And that is when I realized that, I came up with this. There is this rule I have. It's called the 10X rule.
Yes.
So the 10X rule is the first 10 meters. 10 meters is about how you dress. That is what I've told you.
Yeah.
The first 10 seconds about how bold you are. You might be in a good suit, but the way you're walking doesn't represent who people have seen, the perception you've given them.
So your aura.
Yeah, your aura. Like you need, when you show up, let people know that there's someone who will walk into a room and they'll be like, shish, who's that guy? Like he's so bold, courageous.
You
and
can
all.
tell it's important. You just feel it.
You just feel it.
I
Yeah.
know,
Now that's the first 10 seconds. Be bold enough when you go into those rooms to take those opportunities. Now, the last thing is the first 10 words. Communication skills, very important. The way you introduce yourself determines whether you're going to change a conversation from 3 minutes to 30 minutes or from 30 minutes to 3 hours.
Okay.
Because I have a friend of mine who I was teaching a couple of months ago. He was supposed to have a meeting with a certain CEO.
Yeah.
Then I told him the only way you can change a conversation from 3 minutes to 3 hours is through communication skills. How you introduce yourself really matters a lot. Yeah. And that is now my 10x rule.
Okay.
10 meters, 10 seconds, 10 words.
So if I went today to see an important CEO, how should I introduce myself?
Okay. So in your introduction, your first 10 words should be, for example, when I usually go somewhere, or maybe when I came here, when we started, I told you, my name is Brian Nyambego, a speaker, an author, and a personal branding trainer. The one thing I forgot to tell you is that I've been in the industry for the past 4 years, right? Okay. So if I was to introduce myself, I would say, my name is Brian Nyambego, a speaker, an author, and a personal branding trainer. And I have been in the industry for the past 4 years. But above all that, I am a firstborn in a family of 6 kids. Okay. And I'm happy to be here, right? So you realize what the first 10 words have is my name, my profession, how long I've been there. I've gone into detail. Yeah. So people want facts and details. How long have you been there? Because if I told someone I'm a practicing personal branding trainer, they wouldn't trust me, but I've been in the industry for the past 4 years. So they realize that I've gone through trials, tribulations, but I'm still there. I'm still doing it. So they're like, we can trust this guy with our job, right? And I went a bit lower and I told you that, and above all that, I'm a firstborn in a family of six kids. That shows you responsibility. But being a firstborn, it's taken me quite a lot. First of all, being a firstborn with 5 siblings, man, that's crazy.
I'm a firstborn with 2 siblings and I find it mad.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's for you.
You get. So the whole aspect is you'll be like, I can trust this guy. Yeah. Right? With what I'm gonna give him. And now that adds up to, people will be like, okay, I'm ready to listen to more. What is he gonna say? Yeah. So, and with your first 10 words, they give you a leeway now to go into a conversation and now tell people who you are, tell the world who you are, what you have, and how it can help them in a big way.
Okay. Let me try. So let me try. Hello, my name is Keith Tupac Gatiramo, and yes, Tupac's my real name. I'm a podcast host. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a founder. I'm a TEDx speaker. And I currently run a marketing agency. I've been in the industry for more than 5 years, and above all, I'm a firstborn in a family of 3.
Awesome.
But now I just need a bit more confidence.
Yeah, a bit more confidence.
And not to feel like I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, majorly that. Like if you master your first 10 words, gives you a leeway to any conversation that you want to have. Yeah.
Oh, I like that, man. And I also, you see, I was also going to ask you why you introduced the family part, but now that
now you get it.
Yes, the responsibility.
Yeah.
Things like that. So for you, if someone here wanted to know more about their personal brand, how does someone discover their personal brand? Even for me, I'm trying to still discover what's my personal brand, you know. And the other thing is, how does someone not have clashing brands or something? Because for me, I felt like I had clashing brands, and I used to get this a lot from my friends. They're like, bro, we know the kind of person you're on the weekend, so that's why we never listen to your podcast. So I'm trying to get into that personal brand, because I don't feel like I liked that personal brand. It doesn't give me purpose or anything. It's more of enjoyment. So I'm trying to go into like this one of purpose and understand what was my goal here on earth. Yeah. So how do I discover more of my personal brand?
So I have 3 layers of the people that you should have in your life. First thing is people who've gone ahead of you. Might be 10 years, 15 years, 5 years. They know something you don't know. Yeah. Right? The next space you need to put yourself in is your peers, people who you are probably the same age with. Yeah. And then lastly is people who are below you, people are looking up to, and they're like, I want to be like Tupac when I grow up. I want to start a podcast and all that. Yeah. You see, what you get from all these 3 people is this. The first people, they give you information that is rare. They tell you the do's and the don'ts. They tell you that if you're going to go into this, trust me, you're going to get this, and this is how you can deal with it. Now, when you come to you, people around you, this is what happens. Most of them, you know, that is where you will realize that, okay, you know, I'm not just the guy that people see out there. I'm just a normal guy. So that is why we laugh. We tell each other, you know, stories when we were kids, what we used to do. We laugh. And that is why mostly But you see, in that circle, what you'll realize there is usually a lot of familiarity.
Yeah.
They don't realize the gift that you're carrying, how many people it is helping out there.
Yeah.
Until it's too late, they'll be like, sheesh, man, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I didn't know how many people your podcast has been able to transform.
Yeah.
So they'll be shocked later. But for the moment, they'll be like, sheesh, let's just live, laugh, and laugh. That's it. Right? And for me also, that's one of my mantras, that sometimes I live, love, laugh. So when I'm with my circle, I live, love, laugh. We'll just, it's never that serious.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, I'll remind myself that, I'm just 21 years. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? But now the people below you will be like, I want to be like you. So what do you do? What you've gotten from up there, you will give it to them down there. They'd be like, okay, now I want to learn. That is where now the programs, let's say the programs that you can create to teach people, masterclasses, events, as a person. That is where also it comes down to, are you willing to mentor these people? Are you willing to work with them? And for me, that is really what stands out, that I'm able to get from there. When I'm with my peers, I'm able to just sit down with them and have a conversation with them and tell them, you know what? It's never that serious.
Yeah.
But also one thing I tell them is that let's not be familiar with each other too much that we forget you have a gift, I have a gift, and we can help each other. Wow. And people below us, it's more on let's bring them together, mentor them so that they can be also a force out there. Yeah. They can also pass it down to generations as we are doing. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So now with personal branding comes a lot of self-criticism, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, and all those things. Yeah, I know I suffer from it, and that's why even sometimes I'm like, should I even just post this?
Yeah.
What will this guy say about me? How does someone deal with that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome. I also have it at some point.
Yeah.
It's like, you see, sometimes before I get to a stage, I usually ask myself, am I good enough to speak? Yeah. Am I? So the what ifs become so many in my head.
Yeah.
Until I kind of get to forget who I am. And I'm like, the more you start doubting yourself, the more you start losing clarity of who you are and who you're becoming. And I think like for me, when I'm in such moments, I remind myself, hey, you didn't get here by chance.
Yeah.
You earned it. You got here because you deserve it. You got here because of your mastery. You got here because of the days people never saw. You see, people never see the behind the scenes of these podcasts. People never see what you go through for you to make sure that all the equipment is here. You get bringing your team together. It's such a crazy task, but people usually see the aftermath of it, the good side of it.
Product.
Yeah. And I believe that when imposter syndrome kicks in, I remind myself, hey, the BTS of the days that we didn't have. I remind myself of the BTS, the days that I couldn't even walk with my team.
Yeah.
But right now I can. I'm like, so you're willing to let them down because imposter syndrome just kicked in? No, we just have to keep going. So when those days come, remind yourself of the days you didn't have, the days you lacked, the days you started, how they looked like. Because you've come so far for you to stop it. You've come so far for you to give up. You've come so far for you to have the what ifs in your head. And yeah, it is usually there. It will always be there. But the whole thing is remind yourself that you're good enough for you to achieve those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So remind yourself that you're good enough. Yeah, because I think everyone in every field, not just our field, goes through that imposter syndrome. So it's just you didn't get here by chance. Yeah. When you look at it, what's probably one of the biggest challenges you faced on this journey of yours?
Environment.
Okay.
Environment is like a Coca-Cola soda.
Yeah.
When you go to the distributors, it's way cheap. It's like 60 shillings, 500 ml.
Yes.
You go to the supermarket, the same exact soda, 500 ml is like 70 shillings.
Yes.
Just go to a shop nearby, it's like 80 shillings.
Yeah.
Now, from the shops to at Cafe or Java, it's like 150, 160 there.
Yes.
Go to the airport, different price.
Yes.
When the aeroplane takes off, trust you, it's a different price.
Yeah.
It's like when you're on the SGR, you ask yourself, man, I think this soda is way cheaper out there. The only thing is you can't access it at that moment. So environments really do matter.
Yeah.
The people you put yourself around with. And I think when I was starting off, I was in this circle of people who told me, Brian, this is going to take you like 20 years to achieve, so you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
This is going to, and the best way to kill a dream, or rather the best way to not realize your worth, is to tell it to people who are thinking small, to people who are not walking on the same path that you're walking, because they don't understand the dream, they don't understand where you're going, they only understand the instant gratification, the now.
Yeah.
The past. They're judging you from what you are right now. They are not seeing the aftermath of it. So I think for me, the environments really made me realize that I'm just like a Coca-Cola soda. So if I just get myself from this point to this point, I will change. And now when I started sitting with people who've gone ahead of me, they started teaching me these things. And I was like, so I can achieve this within a short period. That is why when I was 18, I published my book. 19, I got my first job as a marketing strategist and sold my first 1,000 copies.
Oh, congrats.
At the age of 20, gathered 2,000 people, met everybody that I wanted to meet. This year, I've also done like quite crazy stuff. And I can say that it's all because I changed the environment. So environments. The reason I've repeated that is because what gets repeated gets remembered. So I hope they remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's some of that crazy stuff that you've done, man? I saw the other day where you were at the State House or something.
Yeah.
How was that, man?
So I'd say that last year I had this whole vision board of meeting 10 entrepreneurs in the country, starting from the president. The reason I wanted to meet the president is get to know his journey, where he started his whole thing from. You know, I wanted to meet Mwenda Thuranira, the CEO of MySpace, because he's a guru in real estate. I wanted to learn some things from him.
Yeah.
Also wanted to meet the former Chief Justice of Kenya, Willy Mutunga, because I also wanted to learn a few things from him. Wanted to meet the former governor of Makueni, Kivutha Kibwana, because he studied in Harvard. So I know that, there's this whole thing of someone who's gone to Harvard. So you want to know really why do people talk so highly about Harvard. I also wanted to meet the daughter to Dedan Kimathi. So one thing I came to realize is that meeting these people, it's about shifting your environments, which I shifted. And I think the reason I wanted to meet them is get to learn from the Most High so that I can apply that in the smallest way possible in what I'm doing, or maybe in the greatest way possible in what I am doing at the moment.
Yeah.
Because you see, one thing with people is I can teach someone, it's more of, there's something that you struggled with for 5 years. You can teach someone on how to create maybe starting a podcast might have been like a crazy journey for you.
Yeah.
But you know very well, if you sit someone down for like a whole class, you can teach them on how to start it in like 10 days.
No, 100%. Even less.
Even less than that.
Yeah. But for me, it's taken
quite some good time, right?
Yeah.
So same thing, like, you see, there's something that has taken these people 20, 30, 40 years to achieve. But if I get to learn that within one meeting, it will change my life completely.
Forever.
So I think that is really what I wanted to learn. And last year was one of my greatest years, man. Yeah.
I like that you said that there's this amazing lady. She teaches a marketing class, a marketing entrepreneurship class.
Yeah.
No, a marketing, it's not entrepreneurship. It's like a marketing, what do we call it? So more like a marketing class. It happens
Digital
every
marketing.
month. No, it's not that. It's just, she's brought 7 people together.
Yeah.
Are we 7 or 8? 7 or 8, and then she's just decided to share her knowledge and saying, it took me 20-something years to come here. I don't want you guys
more
to
of like
go
a master
here.
class.
Yes. But imagine, like, she just selects her people, right? She doesn't even charge anything. And she's a top lady she's a head of marketing in one of the biggest banks in the country.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just want to share knowledge because I don't want people to go through the same journey. And it's not just a marketing class, it's life, personality, relationships, everything. And she shares her personal lessons. So it's such an amazing experience. But I get what you're saying, because that's the same motto she has for those things. I don't want you guys to take whatever. When you look at it, I know you're only 21, but what do you feel like was the most successful moment of your life? Or the one that you say, ilazima, I tell the grandkids.
I think for the past couple of years, the things I've been able to achieve, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say if there is one moment I'd really look back and say it is worth it telling to my grandkids, it is that if you put in consistency, because growing up, I used to think that these things are like crazy. Okay, there are 2 things. First of all, I'll say the first one, which is if there is one moment I can really go back memory lane and tell my kids, it's that if you put in commitment and consistency in your craft, you will have it all.
Yes.
Whether you like it or you don't.
Yes.
Consistency is what gets you there.
Yeah.
Because I've been able to create an audience of 60,000 people within 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah. I never knew that would happen. I know there's someone who can do that with less, but for me,
No,
it's
I need to
such,
come for a lesson or two from you because
yeah.
I know my content has really improved, but I'm still struggling to see that growth.
Mm-hmm,
So I need to come for a lesson or two.
Yeah, yes, sir. So I think for me, 2 months,
Yeah.
and I was like, there's someone else who can do it for less than that. But you can never compare someone's day one with their 1,000 of someone else.
Yes.
So for me, it might be day one. For someone else, that might be their 1,000.
Yeah.
But I really took that to heart. And I think if there is another thing that really I'd say I'll take down, memory lane and tell my grandkids is that I was able to gather 2,000 people for an event, and I had never hosted an event before.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Well done.
Yeah, it's because I believed in myself.
Yeah.
So when you believe in yourself so much, there is that, because they say that your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions, or rather your habits. Yeah, your words become your habits become your actions become your reality, then your reality becomes your destiny, and that's all. So I think it's all about your beliefs, your belief system. How big is it? How much do you believe in yourself? Yeah.
I get this question a lot on the podcast or on my comments or whatever. Tupac, how do I find purpose? I'm struggling to find purpose. How would you advise someone to look for purpose?
Invest in yourself. That's the greatest thing that you'll ever do in life.
Yes.
Because I feel like someone is like, I want to learn communication skills.
Yeah.
But you go ask someone, hey, I want to learn communication skills. They refer you to a masterclass somewhere. And then you're like, I can't pay 1,000 bob. I can't wake up to go out there. I can't. So how do you expect to change? Because what you're not changing, you're choosing. So the whole thing is this, that if it is something that can be changed, you can change it. But the whole thing is you're choosing to be reluctant. You're choosing to be complacent and be like, you know what, I can't, it's a Saturday afternoon. No, I can't go. So how do you expect to improve? So finding purpose really needs also urgency, as I said. Like finding purpose is more of investing in yourself and realizing that these things not only going to help you, it's going to help millions of other kids, memory lane, or rather down the 10 years, 15 years. When I look at someone like Lennox Omondi, I think he's been here, right?
Yes, he's been here.
Lennox is such a good friend. And I'd say that when I look at what he's doing by creating pads for girls, it's this, that for him, he's not focused on the now, he's focused on how is he going to help 30 million plus kids in Africa by giving them pads, by providing a solution to something. But so many of us are like, hey, because he also had to do a couple of things. Like, I sat down with him and I asked him this question, like, how did you start? I realized that he attended events to perfect his communication skills. He attended events to learn networking. So before he got the grants to start the company, he knew that there's a place where he started from. But most of us usually focus on the glory instead of the story. And I think the whole thing with purpose is focusing on the story. Like, what do you want to create? What legacy do you want to leave behind? And that gives you clarity to what you're supposed to do at the moment by attending events, if it's, it starts with the smallest habits, like making your bed in the morning when you're waking up.
Yeah.
Like, let's say reading a chapter of a book every single day.
Yeah.
I'd say things like, it actually, the smallest things, because if you can't control the smallest things, you can't control the big things. Because it never starts from purpose, it starts from the things that you're doing. How do they define who you want to become? So majorly that, yeah.
How do you want to be remembered when you are gone?
I want to be remembered as someone who created meaning.
Yeah.
I want to be remembered as someone who created purpose, and I want to be remembered as someone who created fulfillment in this life.
Yeah.
Not just for myself, but to billions of other people across the globe. Because I believe that there is power when someone listens to someone's story.
Yeah.
They get inspired from that and they create a meaningful life for others, because they're like, when we look at Mother Teresa, we're like, she did a lot for people, and there is someone who got inspiration from that and started. When we look at Barack Obama, we are like, this guy, in terms of communication skills, is so good. So I really want to go back, watch his videos, and be like, you know what? So I want, when I'm gone, I want people to look back and be like, this guy created a meaningful, a purposeful, and a fulfilling life for millions of other people out there. Yeah.
Let me ask you, what habits and routines do you have in your daily life that has made you the person that's seated on that seat today?
Okay. Number one, it's realizing that you will get there no matter what. But it's either day one or one day.
Day.
So your choice of words really matter.
Yeah.
That's the first thing, that I'm so keen on the choice of words I use. I wouldn't say that, hey, I'm just taking a day at a time, I'm suffering. No, I'll say I'm working to becoming better. I wouldn't say that I missed out on this. I'll say, how can I achieve it next time if given a chance to do it?
Yeah.
How can I do it better? And I think the other thing is leave the environment better than you found it.
Okay.
Don't ever put yourself in a space whereby you go to an environment and you leave it dirty. You don't give, it's more of like value. If you give value, people will give you value back. But we usually look at it from a point of, I'm not going to give value, so I'm going to expect value. No, man.
Yeah.
Like if I'm giving value, I might not have gotten value from people, but because you hosted me on this podcast because you've seen the value I'm offering out there.
Yeah.
So I don't give to expect. I give because I know it's going to create meaning to someone.
That's true.
I think for me, those are the few things that have really been able to guide me through my journey. And I really appreciate the fact that I'm able to do each and every one of them. Yeah. I'd say in the smallest way possible or in the biggest way possible I can. Yeah.
What sacrifices have you also made? Because I know sacrifices are important.
Yeah. Sacrifices, number one, leaving some environments,
Yeah.
leaving some friends. Because some of them will tell you, quote unquote, I'd say in our native language, ulipata pesa ukatuacha, right?
Yeah.
Some of them will say, or rather I'd say it in English, that you got money and then you left us.
Yeah.
You got money and then you felt like you're so good.
Yeah.
Right? But the whole thing is realizing that your environments really matter. They really determine who you're going to be. Because as I stated again, like you're an average of the 5 people around you.
Yeah.
So first of all, the sacrifices I've made is leaving environments that don't really give value to me, or rather they don't appreciate who I am becoming.
Yeah.
That's the first sacrifice. The second sacrifice I'd say is knowing that the time that I'm putting in my craft, it will definitely give back value, not just to me, but to other people. So sometimes I'll be so selfless to a point I'll be like, okay, I know it's 6 a.m, but we have to go and shoot some episodes for our community, because I run a community that I'm teaching guys on personal branding, public speaking, and communication skills. I'll be like, we need to go and shoot. I'll call fella and I'll tell him, we need to go and shoot. It's a Friday and I know you're supposed to be somewhere, but so majorly that, yeah. The sacrifices are in terms of time. Also, I'd say in terms of health.
Yeah.
Because if there are things that you can't buy, it's time, health as well. You can't buy health. So yeah, like waking up most of the times and going for runs. Runs, for me, it's going for runs mostly, yeah. Doing 10 kilometers every single day.
Wow. How does someone let go of such people? Because we know we all have such people, but we scared to let go. How does someone navigate that?
Okay. So letting go is hard. It's crazy tough at some point. You're like, what are they going to think?
Yeah.
How they're going to... But you see, the more you put yourself in that place of what are they going to think about me, so it's never about you anymore. It's about them. That you've decided to give them control in your life.
Yeah.
That they can tell you, let's go here, and you'll go. Let's do this, and you will do it. Why can't it be you who's saying, hey, let's do this, and they will do. Let's go here. And so it also depends, like, the power that you're willing to give people. Yeah, I know it's tough at some point. There's someone who will tell you, man, it's so crazy. It's so tough for me to leave my... I think that is because you've given them the power to tell you, hey, you know what? We are going here, and you have to. You have to be there. So if you're not there, you feel guilty. Why? Why are you feeling guilty? Because it is your life. You are supposed to be the driver to... Your life is just like a car that is moving. If you don't drive it, or rather, when you give... Okay, for example, when you give someone your car, you be like, be as careful as you can, because I don't want it back with a dent.
Yeah.
I want it back as clean and as good as I gave it to you.
Yeah.
So if someone gives the car to you while it's dirty, it has dents all over, you'll be like so mad. Like, I gave you this car brand new. And so it's like just like a car. And also it depends with the driver, the person who's driving it. So yeah, you'd either want your car back dirty or you want your car back clean. Yeah.
No, I like that thing that you said is your life is like a car.
Yeah.
If you're on the front wheel, you control where the car is going. If you give someone else to drive, they control where your life is going. So the choice is yours at the end of the day.
And another thing I'd say is like when you're using the GPS, it will always ask you the location of where you want to go.
Yeah.
If you don't put the location, you can't get there. But if you put the location, you will definitely get there. Yeah.
before we get to the kick it section, I just wanted to ask you: is there anything I might have forgotten to ask you that you wanted me to ask you?
I think we've literally talked about everything.
Yeah.
But as we keep growing,
Yeah.
we keep becoming better.
Yes.
We keep having more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the next time we
Yes.
should speak more out of personal branding or something. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah.
Okay, so as we go to the kick it section, is because of personal brand and it's such a personal story and it's personal. Have you always loved yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So if there is one moment I hated myself, it's the time I decided to doubt myself.
Okay.
The day I knew I had I'd say I had an answer,
Yeah.
but I doubted myself enough and I said, this might not be the answer.
Yeah.
And someone who was seated just right next to me raised up their hand. They gave the same answer. And I was like, shish.
You should just answered.
And there was a price, funny enough.
yeah.
So I was like, I missed it because I doubted myself. It was just that one moment and it changed my life completely. I was like, I need to stop doubting myself. I need to start loving myself. So yeah, all along I've loved myself, but that one moment really changed the perspective that I need to love myself even more, to remind myself that I'm good enough, that the answers that I'm willing to give, they're as good as I think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2. Dead or alive, is there someone you'd love to have dinner with and
Definitely. My mother,
why? Okay.
100%.
Yeah. Why?
Like that woman she's the greatest woman I've ever met in this world, the most beautiful woman I've ever met.
Yeah.
For me to be where I am today, it's because of her. For me to achieve the things I've achieved today, it's because of her.
Yeah.
It's because of the lessons she gave me. It's because of the beliefs. Like, it's because of the strong belief she made me have. That, hey, Brian, you can achieve, you can become, but if only you're constant, like you're committed and you're consistent in your craft, in what you do.
Yeah.
And as I told you, like in the front page of my book, there's a quote he ever told me that dreams will just be dreams. Like dreams without goals are just dreams.
Yeah.
So if you leave them on the pillow, they're dreams. But if you wake up and put in the commitment, the consistency to achieve them, you will achieve them. So I'd say my mother, 100%.
Okay. And finally, is what's something most people assume about you that isn't true?
You see, when people see me online, they kind of think that I'm so serious.
Yeah.
Until they meet me physically. They're like, sheesh, man. Like, I didn't think that you're this funny or something like that, that you can have a conversation, that we can laugh. Like, people usually see people who give advice out there, then they're like, this person is so serious, I can't even like approach them.
Yeah.
Because there's someone who will be, the days I've met people, they're like, hi sir, how are you? And I was like, no, it's never that serious.
Yeah, come on.
Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Let's be humble, let's be open, let's be transparent with each other. And yeah, I think that is one thing that people assume, and other people usually assume that I'm way older than I am. Yeah. Because there's someone who's going to watch this podcast and they're going to be like, you're 21? Really? I didn't know that. I thought you were like 25, 26.
Yeah.
Because the first thing I usually ask before I get to a stage, I usually ask, how old do you guys think I am? I give a chance to like 3 people. One will say 30, 27, 25, and be like, sheesh, I might be older than that or younger than that, but age is just a number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Even I thought that you're like 25, 26.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you're 21. Yeah. As we wrap this up, I don't know if you have any last words for the camera. I don't know if you have anything else you want to say to the audience. Yeah.
I think if there is one thing I really want to... Should I face the camera?
Yeah.
Okay. If there is one thing I really want to say is live, love, laugh. Yeah. Live your dream. Love yourself. Because you can't give people what you don't have. And laugh. It's never that serious. Check yourself out. Take care of yourself. It starts from there. Because if you really want people to take from you, they can never take from... If I'm thirsty, I'll want to take from a cup that has water.
Yeah.
If I'm thirsty, I won't take from a cup that doesn't have water. That's the whole thing. People will take what you have and let them take from your overflow. And don't ever, ever put yourself in a position where you think that you are less what you think you are.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brian, for blessing
welcome,
this
man.
podcast. Thank you so much for, gracing the invite, coming to do the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you as well. I really appreciate you. Thank you for hosting me. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to more and more, man. Yeah, and I wish you all the best.
Definitely looking forward to having you here again and again, have another conversation, And may God bless everything that you put your hands on.
Amen.
Yes.
You too, may He bless you. May He grant you favor.
Yes.
and grace, man, in everything that you do.
Thank you,
Yeah.
brother. For those of you tuning in from home, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Just to Kick It is a Blessing podcast. Remember that no matter where you are, no matter what you are going through, Just to Kick It is a blessing. Goodbye and see you next week.
For the Lord we praise. Ooh la la, it's a brand new day. If a hater come, we are let him stay. If a demon come for the boom, yeah, singing no weapon forming against me shall prosper.